Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Talking to Your Podcast. How you been? How have you all been? It's been a minute, right? How have you been since the last episode? How's life been? It's been a few days away and we are back. So we are probably at the time of the year where everything is, beginning to get more serious. I mean, it's June, right? And there's no time of the year as serious as the middle of the year because now everybody's more aware that the year is running to an end and we're all trying to meet up with our deadlines. So some people plan to buy houses this year and they're like, oh my god, it's June, I've not bought my house. Some people are, didn't plan to do anything this year, but everybody's just rushing to get their goals. So it's the middle of the year. How has it been for you? How have you been meeting with your plans? How have you been coping? I have been good. I have been fine, right? But I've been doing my best. How have you been? Now, 2 Fridays ago, I was at an event organized for teenagers at work. So it was a work event organized for teenagers. It wasn't organized by work, but I was, just there as as a member of some sort of the planning team. And just because, of my presence, I was there to, put these teenagers in check. So we had, the event just went on, we were talking to them and it was some sort of a casual thing, not so casual, but not too serious, right? Just some fun time with them. And at some point, the event host had them play certain games and they were doing this or that, the this or that segment. So this or that now. 2 options, you pick one. And then she would read out 2 options and ask, and they will all chorus. And she asked a very interesting question. So she asked, will you either be more famous or make an impact? And a lot of them chorused, oh, make an impact. And while the noise was about to die down, the noise from chorusing the answer, just a few seconds before it died down, somebody now said, be more famous. Who has impact helped? I'd rather be more famous. Who has impact helped? And then everyone laughed it again. It increased the uproar. Everyone laughed. And I could see a smile from the event host. I could see a smile from her face. A weird smile they're kids. And I was going around the hall and I saw a child, young girl, stare at the event host and stare at myself for a few seconds. But I saw a very interesting stare. That face where you give way? You are trying to think about something between 2 options. That look of, is this really true? Disbelief and, just understanding the true ramifications of that thing. I could see it in the child's face and I understood exactly what it meant. So I went around the hall and I passed behind her back and I whispered in her ear, you are free to choose your options. There are no options restricting you. And then she looked back at me and smiled. So she was doing that because she very, very genuinely felt that it was more important to make an impact. So she was among the people who chorus make an impact. But hearing somebody else be bold enough to say, be more famous instead of making an impact, made her start to consider, am I wrong for picking? And so I had to validate her claims. And it's been 2 weeks, and just yesterday while heading back from work home, something that happened about a week ago flashed back in my head again. And it got me thinking. And as you guys know, I will always bring my thoughts to you because I want you to tell me if I'm wrong or just see this thing from where I'm seeing it. Life has changed in general, right? A few years ago, at least when we were teenagers, we chose jobs and professions. We wanted to be great things for a lot of reasons, and one of those reasons was because we wanted to be able to touch society. Now, 10 years, 15 years later, life has changed drastically. In fact, I remember telling some of these students who were at that event 2 weeks ago, yesterday, I told them life has changed. And I said, they were looking at me, and then I said something along the lines of, what used to be the main jobs people used to run to, secondary students would run to. If you ask a child a few years ago, and by few, maybe not few, but if you ask a child 10 years ago what he wanted to be, he would say something like, I wanted to be a doctor, an engineer, a nurse, a lawyer, and stuff. If you ask the child right now what he wants to be, he's probably going to say something like, he wants to be an influencer, a content creator, he wants to be a startup founder. And it's not wrong, because currently we are in that market space. And what has changed is that the traditional way of working has changed to a more digitalized way. And I don't even want us to go into the intricacies of this whole social change in both the workspace and the living space. I don't want us to do that. I just want us to simply focus on what has changed over time. So we see that a lot of people don't want to be doctors anymore, they want to be content creators. And I was telling this guy yesterday, and I said, what we used to do for fun, what my generation did for fun, we have now gotten 10 years down the line, and people are no longer doing it for fun. I was telling them, a few years ago, if you could edit video when we went to school, and I say when we went to school like as if to say I'm really that old, I'm not that old, but like a few years ago, editing videos was something you did for fun if you could even do it, right? It wasn't, okay, so there was a more complex type, but if you could do what CapCut does, because some people say I have a thing against CapCut. My guys make me have a thing against CapCut. But if you could do that thing a few years ago, you were doing so much. Now, not really. I'm not doing so much anymore. But if you could do it then, you were doing so much, and we did it for fun, right? But now, people live off as 9 to 5 as video editors every day. It's a crazy reality we live in. But we are currently at that headspace. So I was telling them, you can imagine what it would be in the next 10 years. And a lot of them understood where I was going with this. So I said that to say, jobs and life has changed. And so how we make impact a few years ago and how we are making impact now has changed entirely. There's no job that doesn't make impact. I mean, no honest work that doesn't make impact in society. It's just as at the time, a while back, some jobs felt like they were more impactful into society. So if you were a teacher, if you decided to be a teacher in time past, you would hear people say, for some of us who are parents who were teachers, you'd hear them say they taught for 30, 35 years, a long period of time. Not necessarily because of the people, because they wanted life to impact lives in such a way that individuals grew up and had such an interesting blueprint for how to live, to be properly corrected and properly built up and properly schooled and properly trained. They wanted that, right? But now it is a bit different how impact is measured. Now, impact is measured in how many people tell you that you are doing a good job. In time past, impact is measured in when you have done the job. You didn't need someone to tell you were being impactful. You comforted yourself by telling yourself that you had done what was necessary and you were being impactful. But that's not how it is now. The times have changed. And so when a child stands up to say, I'll be more famous than impactful, I get what he's saying. Because in time past, to be famous or let me phrase this properly. In time past, what you needed to be famous was you needed to be so impactful that people spoke about you, at least. Whether a good impact or a negative impact, but at least more good impact. You needed to do it so much that people used their mouth to speak about you. So one person tells another person, another person tells another person. And or another way was, we could see what your impact was. If you were a philanthropist, we could see how much good you were doing in society. We could see it. But fast forward 10, 12, 15 years down the line, you don't need that. I mean, you are 5 Instagram posts away from becoming famous, which is why fame scares me. Because some of the most famous people we know now, I genuinely believe some of the famous people we know now have no business with fame. I do. There's a TikTok couple, TikTok sensation. I'm not going to mention names. I think that individual, I don't know how old, in Nigeria, to be specific, male and female, and every time they come across my screens, I weep internally at what an individual with this level of influence and this level of fame would have been if he was better and properly schooled. Now, I'm not saying he is not properly schooled. I'm just saying influence was given to someone at the wrong stage. And I see kids and these teenagers, I hear sometimes when they talk about fame and how they want to be like this person. And it grieves my heart to know that the problem with fame that not a lot of many people know is currently, at least now in this day and age, fame never really shows who you are internally. It just shows how loud you can be externally. And so I haven't been able to sit with this child to tell this child, but I should sit with this child to tell this child that impact is what matters in the long run. That fame dies after a while. That more than just what you will be remembered for. If you are famous and your fame doesn't translate to impact, it just doesn't help. Nobody benefits from fame. Everybody benefits from impact. Now, I'm not saying you can't be famous and popular, but I'm saying that if you had to ever pick, this child should learn how to pick to be impactful more than being famous. I haven't sat with this child to be able to tell this child that not everybody who is popular is right. That popular people can sometimes live questionable lives. And that although impactful people too can, but at the end of the day, what is a life if it's not making impact? What then is it? What are we doing? I haven't seen this child to tell this child how interesting life is. That I am who I am, and that this child is who she will be because someone has sacrificed to make impact. And that is fine if not all of us get famous. I heard someone say about me, I heard someone who I used to teach, I heard someone say about me that I wasn't doing as much as, that I wasn't doing so much. I wasn't doing so much for them. And I just smiled and I said in my heart, you will measure the real impact of this thing I am doing for you now when I am no longer in your life. And you are sitting down and wondering all the things that could have gone wrong, but just that somebody sacrificed their lives to make impact. And that the real heroes of life are the people who make and who leave their footprints in the sands of time, in the lives of others. That life was never meant to be lived while all of us try to be famous. It's a concept that has never made so much sense to me. It's why I believe the current content creators to influencer market is too saturated at the moment. That a lot of us are fighting not to make impact on social media, but we are just fighting to be famous, to be known. So we can step into the rooms and people can say, oh, they know us. And we can get that satisfaction from the stare of people. Oh, that popular person steps in. But there's no real depth that people can look at in their lives and say you are living there. It's just weird that we do not prefer obscurity to depth in terms of substance that you live in the footprints of others. I'm forever grateful to every single individual who has taught me, who has mentored me, who has shaped me, but that will forever remain unknown. I've had teachers, I've had mentors, I've had elders, and I'm saying there are people who society would never reward as the best individuals. But here I am today, standing on the back of others, simply because some people chose to be more impactful than to be more popular and more famous, taking the hard route of being famous. At least seeing that they were not present in this day and age, because if they were and they had to choose, I would have hoped that they chose impact. But if they chose impact at my time, I would believe they would still choose impact. And they chose impact, and here I am. And I just told myself, thank God they chose impact for me so that I can choose impact for the next guys. But I'm worried that we are not defining fame and impact to the next generation properly. Every time I get to sit some of these kids down, I tell the ones who are around me, I don't teach you currently because because I want to be very popular or I want to be famous. I tell them, I may never win any prize in school, but you are my prize. You are the reason why I'm here. And sometimes I can see the disbelief in their eyes, like, oh, he's just saying it. And I'm like, you won't get it now. You'll figure it out later. It's just how impact works. It's in those nights where you sit down and you see those videos and you see those stuff and you know the things you know, and then you realize all the extent the person who made you know it went through to make you know it. That's life. If you have kids around you, please disciple them. Please impact their life. The next generation needs it. They don't want it, they need it. They don't know that they need it, but they need it. We shouldn't be all more famous. I can't tell you the depth that famous people without impact have left on society, but I can tell you the depth that impactful people without being famous have left in building our lives. Alright guys, that's the episode for today. I'll come your way on the next one. Bye, Sojourners.